Hey everybody, it is Jason from the Texas Gun Vault 2, and I guess I'm coming to you tonight with a behind-the-scenes video to kind of show you sometimes what happens when you're a content creator, and I guess you just have a bad day. I don't know, have you guys ever had a bad day at the range where literally nothing goes right, the guns you're bringing to shoot don't work, or they all have problems, and you spend more time diagnosing problems, trying to fix problems, then maybe you even damage something that you own, like a tool. I'll talk about that too in a minute. And then when you leave the range, if it's an indoor range, it's pouring down rain. I mean, everything that could have gone wrong today went wrong. And I want to show you and share with you guys what happened, because I know the people that lent these firearms to the channel are going to be very curious. So let's start from the beginning. I started off today with the Henry repeating arms, lever action, 44 Magnum, 44 Special rifle. And I got this to the range, and I started off with 44 Special, and I was doing my first shots where the left target was going to be 44 Special, right target was going to be 44 Magnum. No issues whatsoever with 44 Special. And then I load some 44 Magnum in this. Load it. First round is great. Open it up. And then when I tried to close it the second time for the second round, the cartridge was pulled from the magazine tube like it was supposed to, but it got stuck on the elevator. So it's kind of halfway in the magazine tube, halfway on the elevator, and it was jammed. But when I mean it was jammed, it was jammed. I mean, it just locked the gun open. I mean, I couldn't do anything. I put my finger in there. I couldn't move it. Yeah, it was just stuck in there. But obviously, you can see I did get it out. And I even saved the round. But I had to wait until I got home to get the round out. Because, actually, I'll show you here. If you guys don't know, on the Henrys, you can take out the whole magazine, the tubular magazine. Here you have the exterior of it. So I took a cleaning rod up into the action of the gun and kind of gently tapped out the round. That got it onto the elevator, and then I was able to extract it. So I had to do that. But because I didn't have a cleaning rod at the range, I couldn't complete the review on this. So I'm going to have to take this thing back. So I did run a few more 44 Magnums through it from the same box. Of course, I didn't fire them, but they cycled just fine, loaded the tubular magazine, and just ran the action a few times just to make sure it was going to work. And it did. So I think that one round just might have been out of spec. I have no idea why it jammed the way it did. In fact, I even have it right here. As you can see, the nose of this thing is pretty gnarly right now because I had to tap it out. And the side of it has an indentation where it was being pulled out of the tubular magazine and the elevator tried to elevate it into the chamber. So, yeah, that was the problem right there. So I couldn't do anything. I think I fired this thing total of 11 times, 10 on 44 Special, 1 on 44 Magnum, and then this happened, and that shut the whole thing down. So I got to take that rifle back to the range at a future time. So I don't know why this thing did it. This, in case you're wondering, this is Winchester White Box 44 Magnum. So that was the main issue there. So I put that back in the case, and unfortunately I had to have it still stuck on the elevator. So I had to have the action open. I put it back in the rifle bag. So I was already in a bad mood, okay? I'm already in a bad mood. Because number one, the gun didn't work, and I'm always anxious when it comes to other people's firearms because obviously, and the people that lend me guns know that I take good care of their firearms. So I always want to make sure that I return them in the same shape, if not better shape, than when they lent it to me. And so here I am with a round on the elevator. No, it was not in the chamber, so it wasn't like it was the gun was in danger of a negligent discharge, and the action was stuck open. So I had to deal with that. So that already put me in a pretty poor mood. Then I moved on to the Gearson. What's the model number again? The MC14T, and this one is on loan from Jack. By the way, the lever action is on loan to the channel from Ken. But this was on loan to the channel from Jack. I talked about this one in a recent video here on the channel. It's a cool 380 with a tip-up barrel. It's like a Beretta. And someone said it's like a Beretta 86, and I guess they had a tip-up barrel, which I did not know. I know the 84 and 85. This thing is really cool. I've had very good luck with the Gearsons in the past, so I was kind of expecting the same thing here. And it turns out that one of the magazines doesn't work at all, okay? So it constantly has a double feed. And the other magazines kind of double feed on most of the ammunition. I finally discovered that one of the magazines with the hottest loadings of 380 work pretty good. I would say 95% of the time. I brought 3 different types of 380, some that Jack provided, and then 2 others that were provided by Mark from Brownworks. Of course, you guys know he's my ammo sponsor. So I had various stuff, and I wanted to try out, different 380s or 380 cartridges in this gun just to see if it had any issues. So I think it was a combination of the ammunition and a combination of the magazines. One of the magazines, as soon as it tries to pick off that first round, it nosedives right below the feed ramps. So I had that issue. After about 3 or 4 mags of just kind of forcing it to run, just kind of clearing the action, cycling it again, it kind of broke in and it began to run a little bit better, but not 100%. What I think the issue is, because this is a direct blowback pistol, and this is the same issue I have with the Beretta 84 that I have, is that because it's direct blowback, the spring on this is pretty stout. In fact, that's why having this tip-up barrel is so advantageous, because it allows people that can't rack that slide to simply tip up the barrel, put in that round, and close it up. And because that spring is so stout, and the hammer spring is so stout, you have to have a pretty powerful loading of 380 to cycle the action. So I think some of the issues were on the medium-powered 380s. It wasn't completely cycling the slide, so it would have been short-stroking just a little bit. However, it always had enough power to lock the slide open after the last round, so the slide was going back that far. I was able to get enough footage on this one to do a range report, but I did have quite a few issues. I took pictures of it, but that was my experience with this. I think it just needs maybe a break-in period, but I believe Jack had shot it before, so he didn't have any issues as far as I know, but I did. Lots of issues. My wife had issues, I had issues, but I was able to shoot it enough to get enough footage for the range report. But with the rifle out of commission and this thing giving me trouble, I'm even in a worse mood now. So then we move on to the Browning High Power Syrian contract. And this is a cool gun. And now I will tell you, when this gun runs, it's actually the nicest Browning High Power I've ever shot. I got so many good things to say about this. But, as I said, there is a caveat of it didn't run great for me. This is the first Browning High Power that's kind of in its stock configuration that did not give me hammer bite. The recoil of this is pretty darn soft. Really impressed with that. So I really felt like it was way better than any other high power I've ever shot. But what's the issues that you're saying or asking me did I experience with this? Well, there were 2. Okay, the first one is obviously a magazine issue. So Richard, who lent this gun to the channel, had the magazine that came with the gun when he bought it, and he also bought 2 of these Mekgar magazines in stainless steel that kind of matched the nickel plate of the gun. Well, I loaded up all 3. Now, when I loaded up this one, the black one that came with the gun, I already knew there was going to be a problem, because I loaded this thing up with 13 rounds, and the rounds were already loose in it. It's not that the spring wasn't stout enough. I mean, you could tell that it was holding in that top round, but the rounds below it, I could kind of shake the magazine. It was sound like a pair of maracas or something. So that was the first magazine I was going to use. So loaded it up for my first shots and insert the magazine. and literally rounds start popping out of the ejection port. So I guess the slide stop pushes down on the follower, and that means the rounds don't have enough pressure to be held up against the feed lips, and literally they just start spilling out of the magazine. So I already had 2 or 3 rounds. I had a round in the, well, what was going to go into the chamber, so on top of the magazine. I had like 2 that spilled out. So that was already a no-go on that one. So I was like, okay, so this is obviously not the gun. It's obviously the magazine. Okay, so now I'm already having issues with the third of the guns. So I've moved on to the Mekar magazines, and these things work a heck of a lot better. And I brought 2 types of 9mm. I brought some Federal 115 grain, and I brought some Winchester defensive ammo, because I wanted to try some hollow points on it as well, considering the gun was made in 1953. This gun is accurate, by the way. I want to mention that. Very impressed with that. However, this thing has light primer strikes. So normally I don't have issues with Federal or Winchester. Now, if it was like the steel case stuff from Russia, the surplus stuff, yeah, you were going to have light primer strikes from time to time because those primers are so hard. However, I'm just dealing with standard Winchester stuff and Federal stuff, factory loadings. And a number of times I had light primer strikes with this thing. So I would collect them off the ground. I would just load the magazine with the 2 or 3 that had the light primer strikes. They would go off the second time. So I think I make a fool of myself one time, which I will leave in the range report because I flinch. Yeah, I think it was the second to last round. I flinched. Yeah, and I always leave that stuff in to show I'm just a average gun guy. So yeah, I'll embarrass myself. I'm willing to take the criticism, but light primer strikes on this one. And when I run the action, I feel the hammer. It's a pretty stout hammer spring, so I don't know if Richard needs to replace that. Maybe the firing pin is a little bit worn. That could be it, that after years and years of use, that firing pin might have a little bit of, I guess the front of it might be mushroomed a little bit or might be compressed. And that's causing some light primer strikes, so the firing pin might need to be replaced. But I was able to get enough footage on this one to do a proper range report. But almost in every magazine, I had light primer strikes. So lots of issues there. But considering that this gun was made in 1953, I'm not too upset, and I'm going to assume it's the original firing pin. So I'm going to recommend to Richard to replace the firing pin, and might replace some of the springs in it if he hasn't done so already. Then, I'm already frustrated. So I have 3 guns I'm going to have to piece together some range report footage on without making me look like a fool and drawing complete attention to the problems that I was having. So I'm putting stuff back in my bag, okay? Moving some stuff around, putting the ammunition back in because I didn't use it all. And I pulled out my new, which I do a little product review on it, my B&T multitasker. This is a cool little tool. You can undo one side. It kind of screws off. You get all these like a pick and a punch and things. On the other side, you have the ability to put on like, well, here it's a front sight tool, like an AR-15, but it also comes with some things like Phillips head screwdrivers, regular screwdrivers and the like. You can put it on that. And it also has an aim point adjuster on the front there. It's a cool little tool. I love this thing. And then I go ahead and proceed to drop it on the ground, and I put in a big scratch or dent in the bottom of this thing. Now, I came home and I actually kind of filed it down, the little tip here. I don't know if you can see it, just because this thing is anodized in flat dark earth, but now the tip of it is all shiny aluminum because I took some sandpaper to get rid of the burr. So anyway, so I dropped my multitasker. So I have 3 guns that don't work. I dropped my tool. I'm frustrated. Okay. My wife, who went to the ranch with me to help me film, she had a long day at work and she was tired. And I always try to be as quick as I possibly can when it comes to her time, because I know she's tired and it's a weeknight and she has to work early in the morning and so forth. So I'm trying to get through all this quickly. I'm having problems. So I'm anxious about that. Drop this. Have problems with all three of the guns. So I finally pack up. Upset. I still got a round on the elevator on the Henry. And then I literally walk outside and it is pouring down rain. It was, this storm must have come out of nowhere, because it was like sunny when I went in and I was only in there for 45, 50 minutes or an hour. And it's pouring down rain and we got to go. So I got to go run out to the car. I took my bag first, then the rifle bag, and I was soaking wet. I was just soaking wet. Okay. Then I know the story keeps going. On the way home, because it's raining, there's a bunch of stupid drivers on the road. Between people making poor choices and driving too erratic and too quick, and then people driving way too slow and too safe. Like, I would pull up to a stop sign, and I was obviously the second person to pull up to the stop sign. So it was a four-way stop. Somebody would pull up before I even got there. I pull up, so obviously they have the right of way, and I'll sit there. Okay, they're not going. Okay? All right, I'm going to go then because they're not going. So I start to, and now they go. Okay, so I stop and then they stop. Okay? I'm going to go now. Okay, you're going to just go. Just drive. Oh, man. Oh, even better. Then I get home because we were going to go out to eat. Because I had spent some time with these guns trying to get them to work, like the rifle. And I guess I had it up against my shirt. My whole shirt on the front had a big old stain on it from like the carbon from the gun. Oh man, it was just like one thing after another. Just one thing after another. I could not make it work. So we're going to see if I can make something of this. I think I have enough footage to talk about this and this without making me look like a fool. Which, by the way, I look like a fool all the time. But I try to hide it. But we'll see. I got to take the lever action back to the range. So if you guys are one of the people that lent me the guns, you guys know what's up, what's happening with those. And then this morning, I woke up and I always check, one of the first things I do after checking my email on my phone is I'm always curious to see what comments people left on my channel throughout the night. Because I have discovered that there are different people, I guess because of maybe where they live in the world, that watch the channel at different times of the day. And so I do get quite a few comments in the middle of the night, like 3 a.m., 4 a.m. Maybe it's some people with insomnia, have nothing else to do, or maybe they just live around the world or whatever. And many times the things that they comment are different than the people that comment during the day. So I'm always fascinated by it. But man, I had 3 or 4 comments today in a row, different people on different videos, all saying that they had to click away from my videos because there's too many ads. And if it's a rage report, they're like, and you do an ad read for, Brownworks or whatever. They just can't say it. I don't get to the point of the video for 2 minutes. I kind of went off. Okay, it's sometimes, I'll tell you, sometimes, this is, I guess, another behind-the-scenes thing. I'm really better on my channel now than I used to be. When I had my old channel, I would just let it rip. I would just get mad at people and say things and call them out, and I'd leave the comments up. Now, I might comment for a minute, and then I think about it, and I go, should I really say that? I don't curse, I don't call them a name, but I call them out, and I just respond to them. And then I think, after a little bit of time, I go back in, I delete everything, and I just ban them. I'm not even going to argue with them. I delete my comment, I delete their comment, I just ban them from the channel. And that's it. Because I'm tired of the negativity. I'm tired of people just out there. You can't please everybody, so there's no need to have them just on the channel and commenting. But anyway, I had 3 or 4 comments this morning all about that. And I responded to them all at first and go, these things take me a long time to do, and they're expensive to do, and of course, I'm very blessed here at the Texas Gun Vault because I have people that lend guns to the channel. And I have a whole collection of guns too that I need to get around to shooting myself and reviewing. And then I am very blessed beyond my wildest dreams to have not only the people that lend guns to the channel, they might give me some ammo, but then I have Brownworks, Market Brownworks lend me ammo or give me ammo. It makes this feasible. I mean, I have 203 range reports right now that I have filmed that are set to go. Some of them are already released, some of them are not. Think about the ammo costs on that, okay? So when I go to the range, you guys don't see it, but I probably put 200 rounds through a gun, minimum, okay? And I've done 200 range reports on various guns of various calibers. So let me ask you what you think the cost is on that, okay? Just imagine that. Now, not only is it a cost of ammunition, it's also a cost of my time. Now, yes, this is a passion project and it's a hobby, okay? I don't make any money doing this, okay? Pretty much the money I get from my Patreons and the money I get from the monetization of my channel literally go back into the channel, buying things like SD cards and batteries for the camera and ammunition for calibers that I currently don't have on hand that I forgot to ask Mark about. Literally, that's what it is, okay? And so it's my wife's time, it's my time. I would say every 20-minute range report you see on my channel is probably about 4 to 5 hours of my time, okay? That's my time, and I'll tell you that, my time is valuable, okay? So depending on what I'm typically doing at work, I would expect a minimum of $50 to $100 an hour. Okay, so when I do that, yes, it's a hobby, but it's also out there. I am doing this to entertain people and get them good information. So I'm not getting reimbursed for my time. It takes me away from my family. It takes me away from my other things that I have to do. So I'm not complaining, but for me to run that ad because Brownworks is so generous, and to thank the people that lend the guns to the channel. And then for YouTube, which by the way, I don't control the ads. I don't really know what ads they run, when they run, how they run. I have no control over that, okay? That's just YouTube, okay? And even if my channel wasn't monetized, they're still going to run ads on them and take all the revenue. So I have no control. If you don't want that, buy YouTube Premium, okay? But anyway, they get mad at me about that. And I'm like, people take time to create content to entertain you and to inform you. Now, you don't have to watch, okay? And you don't have to like me. I'm not a very good presenter. I'm a terrible presenter. I'm a terrible, YouTube channel compared to the other polished channels. But my time is money, and it takes time and money to run the channel. So for me to recoup a little bit of that, I don't think is unreasonable, but people seem to think that they should be entertained for free. They should be entertained for free and not have to pay for anything. When you go watch your favorite movie, whether you rent it or get it on Netflix or you go to the theater, you're paying to be entertained. That company, the actors and the actresses and the film company, all that, they took time to create that product. And you have to pay to enjoy it. So please don't think this is about money. It's not about money. It's just, man, this thing could break the bank. You know what I'm saying? But so I'm just blessed. I mean, I still lose money on the channel. It's just, I don't know. People just seem to be so selfish. I mean, I would never expect somebody else to work for free for me. What if I went to a place and they're building Windows or something, and they're installing Windows, and I go, why don't you just work for free? Never do that. Your time is money. Your service is valuable. I don't have to use your service. And if enough people don't use your service, you go out of business. Some people don't watch my channel. Well, I'll probably still create content even if nobody watches it because I enjoy it. But I think you guys get where I'm coming from. So I don't know. I was a little bummed about that today too. So in the grand scheme of things, today was not the greatest day here at the Texas Gun Vault. But anyway, what do you guys think? Do you guys think it's over the top what YouTube does or the cost of things, Because trust me, when it comes to other channels that don't do what I do, like, for example, when, let's just say, I'm trying to think of who else does the sponsorships. Like, let's just say the Military Armors channel, okay? Or Coley on the War, okay? People will say, well, he doesn't have to do an ad read. Well, he does occasionally. He does, USCCA, he does a few things. But also, because he's so big, all those guns he reviews? He gets those for free, and he'll get 2, 3, or 4 of them, right? Same thing with Grand Thumb. And then they'll provide him with literally 10,000 rounds of ammunition, and they probably pay him. In fact, I know how much they pay him, because you guys can go over to see the Leviathan Group, which is an organization which represents content creators on YouTube. You can see what they charge. Like Grand Thumb, just to get his basic package is $5,000. So he doesn't have to worry about ad reads, because he's going to get 2, 3, or 4 guns. He's going to get 10,000 rounds of ammunition, and he's going to get $5,000. So he doesn't have to worry about YouTube monetization. He doesn't have to worry about a live read in his ad. He doesn't have to do any of that, because he's getting paid. So the companies are paying him for that. Nobody pays me for that. So anyway, it's just the cost of business. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally, just like, do the math. Think about that. 203 range reports on my channel. Eventually will be out. They're already uploaded. 200 rounds apiece. Okay? Think about the cost of ammunition, and think about my time when every one of those range reports takes 4 to 5 hours. Just saying. Think about that. But people seem to be ungrateful and selfish. If you don't want to watch the ad, you can skip through it. There's that whole thing. You guys know the format of my range reports, where I talk about the gun, and then I thank the people that make the video possible, the person that lent the gun to the channel, my Patreons, and I thank Brownworks, okay? If it's a range report made during his sponsorship. And that's usually a minute and a half to 2 minutes, okay? Those things combined, okay? So the thanking of the people and the Brownworks thing. All you have to do is if you're on a computer, take that cursor, go to the time or the scroll thing, and you scroll past that. Or if you're on your phone, you tap your screen on the right like 2 or 3 times, and it skips ahead 20 seconds, and you can see when the ad's over, because the pictures go away, right? That's it. That's all it's about. If you don't want to watch it, you don't have to. And if you don't like me and my channel, you don't have to follow me and my channel. Not for everybody, obviously. So anyway, that's it. Rough day here at the Texas Gun Vault. So anyway, what do you guys think? Do you ever have bad range experiences? And am I a little bit too whiny and bitchy about commenters? I'm better, guys. I'm better. If you go through all my comments, I might be snarky once in a while, but I end up deleting my own comment and the other person's comment. I'm just tired of negativity. I'm tired of negativity. Man, there's so much negative stuff in this world. I'm just not going to put up with it here on my channel. So anyway, well, if you made it to the end of this video, which is now 28 minutes, holy moly, what the heck? What the heck am I doing? Let's see here. Use the word problems, because I had problems with all these guns today. I'm talking the rifle. By the way, this is a beautiful rifle, isn't it? Man, I wish this thing would have worked. And the 2 pistols, and I dropped my tool. I had problems all over the place. So there you go. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. And I'm sorry if I wasted a half hour of your life. So, as always, thanks for watching.